Hello and welcome to this week's yoga session where we're going to be focusing on hip opener. So I encourage you to get comfortable on your mat, get into a seated position, sitting on your sit bones, and we're just going to slowly breathe in through the nose and breathe out through the mouth. And just releasing anything, any tension that's been built up, and raising the arms all the way up to the sky and simply twisting over towards your left, bringing your right arm down onto your left knee and then turning up and behind and twisting all the way around. With an inhale, coming slightly back, and then as an exhale, twisting back round. Then bringing the arms all the way back up overhead, and then we're going to go round to the opposite side and twisting all the way back, ensuring that our knees are not coming off of the mat and staying in this silly position. And bringing the arms all the way up overhead and bringing them down in front and just stretching out those arms as far as you can and releasing the head down. And crawling your hands back up to meet your feet. And then I just turn to the side so you can see this better. Bringing the hands behind you, you're going to push your chest up towards the ceiling and bringing your head all the way back so that you're really pushing that chest up and away. Then with the next inhale, releasing. Then adjusting and changing feet. And this time, bringing the hands again behind you where they were. And we're going to raise our hips up towards the sky, pushing the chest up and head all the way back. Maybe you even feel here the stretch on your hips already. Tucking in the core and breathing in and out through your nails. And with the next exhale, releasing your hips down onto the mat. And then from here, bringing your feet together into butterfly pose. And then just moving your knees up and down from the mat and bringing your feet as close in towards you as you can. Getting a little bit of movement in the hips and warming them up. Then with the next inhale, bringing your arms up towards the sky and crawling yourself down, really feeling that stretch in your hips. If you can come onto your elbows, but try not to overextend. Just where it feels comfortable for you, or a little bit uncomfortable. But yeah, not overdoing it. And then crawling yourself back up, releasing the legs, giving them a little bit of a shake, and then coming onto your hands and your knees, or your hands and your feet, and walking yourself back to down dog and walking your feet out. And from here, pausing, pushing your hands really into the mat so that your shoulder blades are up and away from your ears. Bringing your feet flat onto the mat, or as flat as you can, bending your knees ever so slightly if you feel need to. And then moving your weight onto your left hand and bringing your right hand up and back and trying to catch on to the back of your left knee or shin or even ankle if you can get that far. But don't overdo it just yet. And then releasing and bringing the left hand to the right shin or ankle or back of the knee. Really feeling that you're pushing up and away with the hand that's in the mat. And then releasing. Then again, changing sides, the right to the left. And then releasing one more and bringing the left hand to the right leg. And then releasing the hand, just walking the feet up to the top of the mat. Feet are wider than hip width distance apart, and then coming all the way down into this deep squat and bringing the hands together into prayer. And you're using your elbows to push your knees away from each other. And with the next inhale, releasing your hands onto the mat and pushing your hips up and back all the way to the ceiling. And with the next exhale, coming all the way back down into this deep squat. And we're just going to move from side to side, moving your knees a little bit forward to just get that movement in your hips. And then stopping here, releasing your hands onto the mat, bringing your hips up all the way to the sky, and then just tiptoeing your feet back together. Then from here, we're going to come into a flow. So releasing all of the air out. Then for the next inhale, coming all the way up, hands above the head, and all the way back down, forward fold. Breathing in to halfway up, and breathing out, release. Breathing in all the way up, little back bend, and breathing out all the way back down, walking your feet to plank. Breathing in, down to chaturanga, and breathing out, up to upward facing dog. Breathing in, all the way back to down dog, and walk your feet out here. Then walking your feet to the top of the mat, and we'll repeat this, coming all the way up, and exhale all the way down. Inhale halfway up, and exhale, release. Inhale all the way up, little back bend, and exhale all the way down. Walking your feet back to plank, and then lower yourself to chaturanga, up to upward facing dog, and back down to downward facing dog. Walking your feet out here, and then walking your feet to the top of the mat. One more time, all the way up, and all the way down. Halfway up, and release. All the way up, little back bend, and all the way down. Walking your feet to plank, lower yourself to chaturanga, up to upward facing dog, and back down to downward facing dog. Then from here, just walking your feet to the top of the mat. And then bringing your hands behind you, your fingers underneath your ankles with your knees bent. Your rib cage is on your thighs, and then you slowly straighten your knees just to where you feel comfortable. And if you wish, you can also bring your forehead down towards your shins. And with the next inhale, releasing the hands, coming all the way up and hands into prayer, moving your weight onto your right foot and bringing your left leg up and behind. Really widening your stance, and then coming all the way over into warrior two. So your right knee is above your right ankle, and you're looking over your right hand. From here, straightening the right leg, shifting your weight over to the right, releasing your right hand down onto the mat and left arm up towards the ceiling. Breathing in and out, ensuring that your core is tucked in here. And just looking up. If it's uncomfortable for you to look up, you can also look down. Then releasing the left hand onto the mat and shortening your stance, so bringing your left leg closer to your right and bringing your hip to face towards the right leg, bringing it up and over, and you're coming down so that your forehead is looking down towards your shin. Then from here, you're bending your right leg and releasing the left leg onto the mat. Bringing your hands into prayer, and then you're twisting so that your right elbow is on your right knee, the left elbow is facing up the way, and your head is turned up towards the ceiling. So you're just twisting this left side. You should really feel it along here. Then releasing the right hand onto the mat next to your right foot or just in front. Tucking the left toes underneath, pushing this up and bringing your left arm up and over in front of your right leg. And from here, also looking up towards the ceiling. But if this is uncomfortable, you can also look down towards the mat. Then if you wish to advance this pose, you can also bring the right hand underneath and the left hand behind and link the hands together, but only if you feel you're able to do so. Otherwise, just stay in the pose you were in. Then releasing both hands back onto the mat. The right hand next to the right leg, pushing the right leg all the way back into three-legged dog. Pushing the hands into the mat and ensuring that the shoulder blades are away from the ears. Then releasing back into down dog, walking the feet out. Then bringing that right leg back up, bending it up and through your hands. And then from here, keeping the left leg raised, you're going to come and bring your elbows down onto the mat into the lizard pose. Now this can be a very intense stretch. So if it's more comfortable, you can keep your hands up, your hands on the mat. But if you wish to advance the pose, you can come onto the elbows. And from here, coming back up onto your hands, shifting the left foot so that you're raised onto your ankle, onto the left ankle, and then twisting the right leg, or the right foot, over, and then bringing your hands into this prayer pose and just holding it here and really feeling the stretch along the left side. And releasing the hands onto the mat, you're going to come into this wide squat and just move yourself from side to side, shortening your stance ever so slightly. Then pointing your feet outwards, we're going to come up into goddess pose. Really pushing down, raising back up as you inhale, and as you exhale, pushing yourself back down. Ensuring that your hips is in, that the pelvic is forward facing, and you're not curving your back too much. You're really tucking in the core and bringing your pelvic forward. Then one more inhale, straightening the legs, tiptoeing your feet back together, and then bringing the right leg on top of the left knee, so the right foot on top of it, and just bringing your hands to prayer and pushing down into this just to stretch that side out. And one more breath, in and out. And then your next exhale, coming all the way up and just shaking out your legs. And we're going to come back and do all the same on the other side. So coming to the top of your mat, bringing your hands into prayer, shifting your weight onto your left leg this time, and bringing your right leg up and behind. And then from here, we're going straight into warrior two. So cartwheeling your hands to the sides and facing the right side. So your hips is really pointed out towards the right. With the left knee facing the left and the right facing outwards. Then with the next inhale, straightening the leg, shifting your weight over towards the left, releasing the left hand onto the mat in front of your left foot and bringing the right arm up towards the ceiling and looking up towards the right hand. And if it's uncomfortable for you, bringing your gaze down towards the mat. With the next inhale, releasing the right hand onto the mat, bringing the left over to the other side of your foot and shortening the stance ever so slightly, a couple of steps. Then bringing your hips up and over, trying to realign your hips so that it's forward facing, and then bringing your forehead down towards your shin. And coming up from that, you're bending your left knee this time, releasing the right leg onto the mat, the right knee. Bring your hands together up into a prayer pose and then twisting this time with the left elbow onto the left knee and pushing with your right hand against the left hand and twisting your body to the right side. And then again, bringing your gaze up and behind you just to extend this stretch even more. And you should really feel it along the left side of the leg and the left glute. Then releasing the left hand onto the mat, tucking under the right toe, and then pushing it up and bringing the right hand up and behind. Up and over, sorry. Again, the gaze should look up towards the ceiling, but if it's uncomfortable or you're losing your balance, then bring the gaze down towards the mat. And again, if you want to extend this pose, bring the left hand underneath the left leg and the right hand behind to hook together. And again, placing your gaze where it's comfortable for you. Really feeling that deep stretch on the left outer side leg and the left glute. Then releasing the hands onto the mat, hands in between the leg, and then pushing the left leg up and behind and into three-legged dog. Then releasing the leg down into down dog, walking the legs out. Bringing the left leg back up into three-legged dog. Then bending it in through your hands. Keeping the right leg raised, bring the left hand next to your right hand. And coming down into lizard pose. Again, you can stay here with your hands on the mat. Or if you like, coming all the way down onto your elbows. Just be aware this is a really intense stretch on the left side. And coming back up onto your hands. And then again, the right leg coming onto your ankle. And then shifting the left foot to a bit of a 90-degree angle and bringing the hands together into prayer and just pushing into this pose. And releasing your hands onto the mat. Moving your hips up towards the ceiling. I'm just going to turn around so you can see me. Moving your hips from side to side, shortening your stance ever so slightly. Moving your weight, your hands over towards the right foot, and then crawling it back towards the left foot, bending the knees as much as you need. And then feet outward facing, and coming back into this lovely goddess pose. So really tucking in the core, bringing your pelvic forward facing, and then with the next inhale coming all the way up, and the next exhale all the way back down, and releasing any excess air out. Then coming all the way up, hands into prayer, and then just tiptoeing your feet together. And then this time it's the other foot, so bringing the left leg on top of the right knee, and then just pushing down into this pose and just really feeling the stretch this time on the left. Just focusing on a point on the floor to keep your balance. And when you feel ready, you can look upwards. And then releasing the leg onto the floor, just shaking it out a little bit. Then from here, we're going to come down onto sitting, straightening the legs out in front of you, bringing your hips a little bit further back, then raising your arms up overhead and coming up and over. So you want your rib cage to be on your thighs and your hands out in front of you, and your head is looking to come towards your shins. And just relaxing into this pose. And with the next inhale, coming all the way up. Bringing your right leg in front of your left. So your left is coming behind, straightening out, while your right leg is bent, and we're coming into pigeon from here. Lowering your elbows onto the mat. And from here, you can also lower your head and release, and just let yourself feel into that tension that might be there. But hopefully from the work we've done, this has been released and that you're feeling a little bit more flexible and not so tight down there. And rolling your hands back up, shifting your weight over to the right, bringing the left leg in front and the right leg behind, with the left leg bent and the right leg straight out, and then slowly lowering onto your elbows and lowering your head onto the mat. Just stretching out that left side and releasing any more tension that might have still been there. Very nice. And then just coming all the way up, we're just going to shift over onto our backs, bending the knees towards the chest and rocking yourself all the way back and down. Then releasing the left leg straight onto the mat, but the right leg stays bent next to our chest, and just moving it slightly over towards the right side of our rib cage and hugging it a little bit closer and tighter in. Now with your hand, you're going to grab your foot and try and straighten your leg as much as you feel comfortable. Maybe it's more comfortable as well to hold on the back of the shin, holding it here. But if you can, but don't overexcel, if you can, then from the back of the foot is good as well. And with the inhale, bringing it ever so slightly closer to you. With your left hand, you're going to hook onto the right side of either the shin or the foot and bring it up and over towards your left side. Really stretch out this side and straighten out your right hand to the side of you. If this is a bit too much, you can also bend the leg, and from here you can get even a deeper stretch actually. But you might feel more of a twist than the stretch of the glute. So you decide what's better for you. Then bringing the knee in towards the chest, giving it one more hug and releasing it. And then the left leg bending up towards the left side of your rib cage. And then with your hands helping to assist to straighten out the leg and holding it either from the back of the shin or the foot. And then with the next inhale, bringing that left leg a little bit closer to you. And then with the right hand on the left side of the left leg and bringing it up and over to the right side. Trying to ensure that your hips is not coming too much off of the mat so that you really feel the stretch at the back of the leg and at the side of the hip. And again, if you wish, you can bend the left leg and bring it all the way over so you feel even more of a twist and the left arm out to the side. Very nice. And then giving that one more hug and releasing the left leg onto the mat. And this time bringing the right foot onto the left knee, hooking behind the left leg and bringing that stretch a little bit, bringing the leg closer in towards you, using the right elbow as well to push away the right knee. And releasing and swapping over, bringing the left foot onto the right knee, hooking behind, and then pushing the left knee away with the left elbow. Now for the next exhale, releasing the legs onto the mat, stretched out, palms on the mat as well, facing upwards, closing the eyes, taking a deep inhale through the nose, and exhale through the mouth. Relaxing into the mat just for this 1 minute more, giving yourself this extra time. And just slowly bringing your knees in towards your chest, rocking yourself from side to side and back and forth, giving your lower spine a little bit of a massage. And then rocking yourself all the way up to seated. Taking one more deep inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really enjoyed it and I hope that you did too. Please feel free to give me any feedback, what you would like to see in the future. And otherwise, I hope you have a very lovely day or evening and week. And I hope to see you at the next time. Namaste.